Alright, g'day guys, and welcome back to another Hero Lab video. Tonight we're going to be playing with the editor again, playing with the D&D 5th edition SRD game system. We're going to be working with how to add a monster. Now this is the second how to add a monster video. I just recorded another one, and I recommend you probably start with that one. I'm basically doing this so that you can see a different monster entered to the tool, using the same process but possibly different challenges that we need to overcome. I haven't looked up the monster we're going to look, so this is going to be another random hit. I could come across something that I don't know how to do, and yeah, we'll just have to see if we can work it out together. Alright, so let's jump over to Hero Lab and have a look at what's going on. Alright, so in front of me you can see I have Hero Lab open and I've got a portfolio already open. This is a special portfolio. I've got a stock file. So if you watch my previous video, you'll understand that there are pour files and stock files. A pour file is generally a user file. A stock file is a file that you would put monsters in, and you save it into your data folder, and that's what makes them available in the show encounter builder. All right. So before we start, make sure enable data file debugging is on, and the reason for this is so we can right click on things and see what the name of the unique identifier is for the thing that we're clicking on. We can also show the debug fields for it, which means we can see all the fields associated with this thing, and we can see the value of those things. So for example, I can see the stat block name for this is called athletics, which is why it displays as athletics. Okay, that's just handy to have. Now, also something very handy from there is the quick reload data files. If you click that, basically what it does is it goes through and reloads all of the custom files that you have, just to basically see if there are any errors. And this is where it'll pop up and tell you if there's an error if you've got something going on. So obviously when you're building, it's important that you don't create files that are going to cause errors. So from here, what do? We go to Tools and we go Show Editor. That's going to bring the editor open. Over here I've got the document that I'm going to be working from. So we're going to put in a Freemius. Oh, I just did the wrong thing there. I'm going to delete that. Hang on. I'm going to put in a Freemius Bandersnatch. Sounds horrible. Now I'm putting in a race again. So under the race tab, under the race sub tab, we're going to go new blank, and we're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this thing the Freemius Bandersnatch. Never heard of it. What does it look like? I can't really see. It must be fast. Oh, there it is. Ugly little critter. What I'm looking for at the moment is just the description of this thing. There we go. So that's all of it. Yep. So I'm just grabbing the description. Not all monsters have descriptions. If you're working from the SRD, for example, it won't have them. But I'm just going to grab them. Now we'll say this again, if you've got Realmworks, Control-Alt-V into a snippet will allow you to not have to do what I'm doing now by removing all the break lines. If you are working with PDFs, just be aware some PDFs out there are really, really bad, and you'll have to look for spelling errors as well. This one I'm working from is from Legendary Games, and I found these to be quite clean, so I don't have to really concern myself with looking for spelling errors and inconsistencies with the way the text comes across. Not the most exciting thing to watch me do, but we're nearly there. Alright, now we have our description in. Come up here to the unique identifier. Don't forget to make sure that you've got a set unique identifier for yourself. I recommend your initials. Get rid of the question mark. And what I generally do is a two-word name. I'll use the first 3 letters from the first word and the first 3 from the second. This is actually going to allow me an extra one, so I'll put a D. Alright, that's in there. We're going to click test now at this stage, and what this does is it basically stamps it into the system and lets Hero Lab know that it's there, that it's available. Alright, so first thing we want to do is I'm making a monster, so we're going to go through and we're going to make sure that this is actually set to a monster, not a normal player race. Alright, so NPC race, we'll make sure that is set. And this will make sure that it appears in the right part of HeroLab. Then we'll scroll up. We'll find the start of the stat block. Alright, so starting from the top, it's gargantuan. So we go down to the size, and we go gargantuan. Just to show you that if you did have HeroLab at full screen like the editor, that this does change. It goes into a 3-column display, which makes it a lot easier. Just for the purpose of this video, though, obviously I'm making it so it's a bit easier for you guys to see both at the same time. There we go. Alright, so gargantuan. It's a monstrosity. So we go NPC race type, and we go monstrosity. Now, if this was like a humanoid orc, you've got an NPC race type tag. So you do humanoid in the first one, then orc in the second one. We don't need that. It's neutral, so default alignment, neutral, true neutral. Armor class 21. I'm not going to put that in. Just talked about in the last video. I don't know what the baseline is yet for armor class, and I need to just put in the the delta of that. So we'll figure that out in a minute. Hit points. Wow, 350 up. Jesus, what is this thing? Hit dice 18, 20 sided dice. 18, 20 sided dice. Jesus Christ. 351 starting points. Then we're going to go through. Now, if you watched my last video, you know that the default value is 10. So if we want to enter 30 for strength, we need to enter 20 because we've got 10 there already. 25, we're going 15, 29, 19. 2 will be a -8. So -8 from 10 equals 2. Wisdom will be 5, and charisma will be 8. This thing is a beast. Total speed, where's our speed? 60 feet. Don't forget 30 is the default value. You don't need to enter 30 if that's what it is, but if you do enter 30 and click save, the 30 will disappear. Do not be worried by that. It's got a climb speed, so we're going to go to other movement types, go edit, click add, and go climbing. Now you can see there's 2 here. There's one coming over from the, looks like from the community pack based on the 5C. But we're going to use the X-Climb, which comes with the service desk pack. Alright, what do we got? 20. So that's the value on the speed. Click OK, and that's added through there. Alright, now we're going to click test now, and it's going to jump over to Hero and just make sure that it's coming across OK, and I can see it. I'm going to go portfolio, create new hero. What's this thing called? Frumious. Frumious Bandersnatch. It's weird. I mean, based on how much health it is, this is not something I want to come across. Bandersnatch. It's a non-player character. We're going to use pick roll ability scores so it doesn't error out if it's got something funky in here, which it absolutely will. And I'm going to set this monster to have the tag for the Forest Kingdom Campaign Compendium. So I'll click OK on that. Alright, and then choose race. There we go, Frumious. There we go. And if we have a look, we can come through and go, alright, Gargantuan, Monstrosity, yes, that's worked. Neutral, armor class of 17. Now I need to get to 21, so we're 4 off. So we're going to come back here. We're going to find the natural armor section. There it is, natural armor bonus. I'm going to enter 4 and click save and test. Sorry, test now. Alright, so that came through us as 21, that's better. Alright, now let's check the hit points. 351, 18d20 plus 162, that worked. Speed, 60, climb 20, and then 30, 25, 29, 2, 15, 18 with a passive perception of 26. Jesus, that's high. No languages, and it's got a challenge rating of 0 currently. So these are all things we've still got to fix. So let's do that challenge rating, because that's right up the top. No, it's not. It's here somewhere. There it is, challenge rating 19. And you'll see that you don't have to enter the XP. That's all auto-calculated. So HeroLab is very clever. It uses the actual mass. And you can see 19 is 22,000. Clicking the wrong things. And you can see here that 22,000 is not 50,000. So the amount of XP that this company has given this monster is not in line with the actual rules from the monster manual. This thing's obviously a beast, and it's having an issue with that. So that's completely acceptable. We'll just have to figure that out in a minute. Do some funky stuff. And I suspect this monster's going to be insanely challenging, which means I'm suspecting a lot of the things I'm about to try and do probably won't work. So let's have a look at saves. Save for efficiencies. I'm just going to jump to the double save here and just assume that it's probably using double index. Then we'll click test. Then we'll come back here. What did that do? 22 and 19. We actually went too high. Okay, so we'll come back here. We'll change that over to dex and strength in the standard. Someone's probably like really frustrated looking at the screen going, why can't you tell this? I just never figured out the way to look at the screen and tell this. 16 and 14 is what I'm after. So you can see there I'm 16 and 13 and it should be 17 and 14. So I'm one off. I'm very close. And that's probably as far as I'm going to get. So I'm actually going to go with that, but I'm going to bring in this eval script that I've got here. I've used it before. And another monster, I'm going to copy it. And I come back to this monster and put my own eval script in here and paste it in. Now, I don't know how to script in HeroLab. You don't need to know how to script in HeroLab. You just need to know a monster or something that has used what you need to do before. That's as hard as it is, and copy it. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is basically just a check to make sure that this monster is actually still in use. So to make sure that it should do it, it's like a safety check. And then what we're saying here is strength and dex are going to be increased by 1 for a save. So I don't even have to make any changes to it. I just click test. And then when I look in HeroLab, what have we got? 17 and 14. So that worked perfectly. Now, alright, probably need to expand on that a little bit. If you wanted to go higher in Constitution, for example, you're probably looking at that going, hang on, Josh, how did you figure that out? The hero.child, I'm modifying the save strength field. And within that field, there's a field called bonus with a value of 1. So what is it saying? What is it doing? What it's doing is it's going, on this hero, I want you to look up the saving throw for strength. So SV STR. All right, let's just cross-reference that. SV STR. You need to increase this by 1. All right, so what did I do? I didn't need to because I've already done it, but previously I've gone to show debug fields for strength. I've scrolled through here to find what thing I want to modify. So in this case here, I want to add a bonus to it. So I found the bonus field. The ID for that is bonus. And as you can see back here, we added the field, we edited the field bonus, and we did a value of +1. Okay, and that came through. So it's a pretty simple script. If you wanted to do this to, let's say, wisdom, all right, don't right click on the stat block. The stat block is just text, it doesn't work. But over here, you can right click, go show, copy the unique ID, so you know what it is. You have a look at the debug fields, come through, go, yep, it's still called bonus, no problems, and then modify your script accordingly. Now, there's going to be situations where you're going to have to use scripts that you don't know what to do. As I said, you need to think about items that you've seen that do what you want to do and copy them over. There's no direct science for this, guys. It's going to require quite a bit of thinking. Alright, skills, let's move on to that. So we're going to do athletics, acrobatics, perception, stealth, and survival. Again, I'm going to test straight away because this is something that I see that is commonly different. If there is anyone out there making monsters for products, I highly recommend Hero Lab for this specific reason, is Hero Lab will tell you what these things should be. Alright, so interestingly, this one's actually quite all over the place. So we're going to try acrobatics and perception. We're going to move them to double. Move stealth to double. Survival's pretty close. So athletics, perception, and stealth. So I've moved them to double proficiency just to see if I can get it a bit closer. Alright, what do we got? Athletics was way off. I think I did the wrong one. Alright, what do we got now? Athletics plus 16, so we're closer. I turned off acrobatics altogether. Perception is close-ish. Stealth is too high, that needs to come down. And survival is almost there. So we'll bring the stealth down. I need to put acrobatics back in. Test that through. And if we come in here and have a look, what do we got? We're now 13, still too low, still too high for athletics. No, sorry, it's coming back the wrong way, it's just throwing me. Alright, so we are very close. 16 should be 17, 13 should be 14, perception should be 16, stealth needs to be 1 up, and survival needs to be 1 up. So we are pretty damn close. Alright, so how do we fix that? Again, we're going to go an eval script. Okay, now this time here we're going to do something very similar. Now, I've done this with the Boreal right before. Not the Boreal, the Boojum Schnark. So you can see here that I've used basically the same script. Frumius. So I'll add these in. Alright, and you can see here that I've done this exact thing. So the athletics needed to be up by 1, that's fine. We need 1 for acrobatics, we need 1 for perception, which is there. Stealth is already there, and we're going to need 1 for survival. So I've just made copies of them. I'm going to save it, this way I don't have to test it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Hero Lab. We've got athletics, we need acrobatics. So I'm going to right click on acrobatics and grab the unique identifier. Just copy it to text. Then we'll come back here into our eval script. And you can see I did it again. My brain's just toast. No, it's not. Athletics, acrobatics. Yeah, I'm with it, guys. I know what I'm doing. Perception, stealth, and I need survival. So we'll go back to Hero Lab again. We'll grab survival. We'll right click and go copy. Then back in the editor, go into eval scripts, and we're going to change that second stealth that I made a copy of to survival. Alright, now acrobatics should be 14, that's perfect. Athletics should be 17, perfect. Perception should be 16, perfect. Stealth should be 14, so I need to reduce 1. And survival should be +9, so it needs to go up by 1. So survival should be +3, should be 1. Notice that passive perception's now working. Survival is way too high. How did I go wrong there? 2. Must have jumped him over a level. Survival 10. Keep coming down by 1. I thought it was survival. I'm just tired. I think my brain's just not working. There we go. +9. Stealth +14. Perception +16. Athletics +17. And acrobatics +14. There we go. So now we've got it exactly where we need it to be. As you can see, it's not an exact science. Not every, obviously, publisher is going to follow the rules for monsters 100%. I can tell you right now, I've found situations where Wizards of the Coast haven't done it themselves. So just be prepared that there are situations where you're going to have to modify things. And one of the benefits of Hero Lab is you can do that. All right, moving on. Damage resistances. Where are we going to do that? We've got weapons, save, and skills. I think it's, where is it? There it is, damage resistances. So we need bludgeoning, fire, piercing, and slashing damage. Interesting, so fire will be done separately. And then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing will be its own sort of thing. Non-magical, which is not what we need. Non-magical. This is actually probably one of the hardest things to actually do, and I kind of wish if, from Wizards as well, from Lone Wolf is watching, that you had a ability to hold your mouse over here. Let's see what these are. And the trick here is to use one that you know is going to be available. So I'm looking for the 5C, for example. That's the community pack. KP would be Cobalt Pressed. So these are all ones I don't really want to use. There we go, no Mage Bludge. That's just bludgeoning, that's piercing. That's piercing from magical weapons. That's silvered, no silvered, no colour. Weapon non-magical, no, don't need that one. Non-silver. What's that one? Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. There we go. Just testing it, just making sure I've got the right one. So, damage resistance, fire, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. There we go. Alright, damage resistance, condition immunities. So we'll go over to the Hero Lab editor, we'll find condition immunities, we'll click edit. And from there we need frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, and unconscious. Click OK. Alright, they're done. Senses, blind sight. Blind sight is actually done in the racial special abilities. Actually, I think there is a census button. Let's just have a look. Something specific for them? I can't remember. At the end of the day, it's just this bootstrapped on, so we'll do it through the racial spell, sure. Doesn't matter. Blind sight. Need to set the value to 60 for the range. Dark vision, we'll do the same thing. And we'll set that to what? 120, big one. Passive perception's gone to 26. We've got no languages. So let's just check it and see what happened. Alright, so immunity is frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, unconscious. Blind sight 60, dark vision 120, so that's all worked. Perception is at 26. Now the XP is still off. So let's play around with that. I don't know. I've never done XP. This might be something I need to go away and figure out, to be honest. I don't think I've ever even figured out where the XP comes from, to be completely frank. So what I'm looking for now is something that I can right click on that's going to tell me what the XP is actually linked to. It's probably people going, I know how to do it. Oh, good on you. I haven't figured this one out yet. I actually don't know anywhere else that the XP comes across. There it is. So obviously the right click doesn't work on everything. It works on specific things. I don't reckon we're going to get it where we want it. So, what else can we do here? We can have a look at the develop floating info windows. So I'm going to look at the hero fields. Let's see if I can find what this thing is called. Total XP. XP award, there it is. So TXP award. Let's see if we can modify that. Keeping in mind that I've got no idea what I'm really doing here. I'm just going to make this up as I go. But TXP award. Field bonus 100. Let's go 1,000. Let's see what happens. I don't even know if this will save. No. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I know basically what I need. Don't do that button. I know basically what I need to do. TXP award. I'm going to look up TXP award. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to a resource that I have, which is the community pack. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to search this community pack for TXP award. Oh. No, so no one's ever messed with TXP award. So what I do here is sometimes I search in the GitHub to see if I can find someone that's done the same thing previously. In this case, that's not occurred. So I just need to find a way to do that. I wonder, we can go into the help file. See if someone's actually used XP in the help files before. Now the help files can be really useful, but I'm not going to lie to you, they are like ugly as far as ugly goes. Target expressions, not exactly what I need. Just type TXP, no, nothing. So there is an element of searching involved. It's never completely easy. And the help files are aren't always 100% useful. No. So I'm not finding anything in here that's going to tell me how to do this. I might need to come back to it. Another thing I might be able to do if I can think of something that's actually already modified on a regular basis. This is where you guys are like, wow, he actually doesn't know how to code. And you're right, I don't. But think about how much I've managed to do, like all the stuff I've done from the community, without my understanding of coding. So it's absolutely possible for anyone to do this. You just got to have persistence. Pot max L. I reckon people have messed with that. Nope. This is kind of like a needle in a haystack right now. I know that somewhere someone's done this. Here we go. Look at that. Hero field T reach value. So if I copy that and I change that T to XP award out of 1,000, what happens? Aha! Still at 22,000. We need to get to 50. 2 out of 10. Alright, nothing. Now you're probably sitting there going, oh, that didn't work, haha. What's probably happening is I'm setting it at the wrong time, most likely. So I'm just going to double check it. We've got TPXP award. That seems to be the place to put it. Timing could be an issue. Now, what I mean by timing, in the eval script, you can see this is running first. So what's probably happening is it's setting it to 10,000, then it's been overridden by something. So I'm going to put it to the final phase and see what happens. What happened this time? Nothing. 22,000. I'm going to try put it up to 10,000. I'm going to do it for the post attributes section. No, this is not a normal problem, obviously. This doesn't always occur. We're doing it in there we go. So I set it to happening at 100,000. So we need another, what do we need? Another 10, another 18,000 on top of what we've added. So that's working. Another 28. So that was timing that's done it. I figured out how to do it. It still wasn't working. And basically what it was happening is it was being overridden by the script. So all of this script that occurs in Hero Level happens to a timer. And certain things generally happen at a certain phase during that entire process. So, you know, it was probably going through about halfway through calculating the monster, and it was setting the XP value, and it was overriding what I first had there. So by setting this to go a lot later than that, I've set it at 100,000, which I've never had to do with anything. That seems pretty high. I've managed to tell it to do it last. Alright, so that's it. So it just comes over and it makes sure that it does it last, and now I have 50,000 XP. So pretty unique monster, and that doesn't happen a lot. Alright, so we can speed back up now. We've got everything processing the way we want it. We're going to look to do our bounding charge. That doesn't exist, so we'll go a new blank. Again, this is a racial special ability. This is going to be added to our creature. We're going to call it bound charge. It's not an action, it's a special. And it doesn't require any action because it's a special. And we're just going to click test now and put it into the system. Okay, then we'll put in fruminous, whatever that is. Now you don't have to do these all in the same order, obviously. You can put one in and then save it, and then put another one in and then save it. It's much more efficient if you do it this way. And again, if you've got Hero Lab, you might as well take advantage of the Control-Alt-V, because this can be annoying. Doesn't take long, but you know, prefer not to do it. Alright, that's now saved. This is another special. If it misses, so we're just going to go no action. That's just like the default that I use these days, and save it. Gaze. There is a gaze, but it's not the same one, so we'll create another one. Get rid of the enters again. Again, it's a special. That's a bonus action this time. Test it, make sure it's in the system. And you can see I'm just going through and doing all of these at the same time. Hard to kill. You really don't want to fire this thing. I have no idea what it is, but it sounds horrible. Almost like some kind of nightmare. Now Revify is actually underlined, so we're going to use some symbols. Now I'm going to put in italics just because I know the rest of the documents that I've put into here are in italics. So I'm doing curly braces with an I in it, and then curly braces with an ending dash, or sorry, ending slash and then I. That will turn it into an italics. Again, it's a special once per day. Alright then, magic resistance. We've already got that, so we don't need to do it. Planar acclamation, that's actually in there already, I reckon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this one to creature. The creature cannot be banished, and this will allow me to reuse planar acclamation. It's used with other creatures already. It just means that by renaming it instead of using the specific monster name, I can save on the amount of stuff I need to make. Quick recovery. Just copy these in. Again, we're still on a special. No action required. Alright, relentless tracker. Nothing, so we'll do another blank. Picked a really interesting monster to enter. Like, this guy's a beast. Again, that's a special. No action. And vicious tenacity. Okay, that'll be a new blank as well. Although that does sound strangely familiar as well. Go away. Ah, cancel. Doesn't like that I want to move away from it. Put the name in. I'm just going to test it. Just so I can see that it's not down here. No. Be a duplicate if there was another one there. Sorry, I'm not yelling through the microphone at this stage. Got a wife asleep in the room next to me. Special. It's actually upon death, so I'll do no action and we'll save that. Alright, so I've just added a heap of special or racial specials there. Now we'll go back to the actual race itself. We'll go back to our racial special abilities and we'll start adding them. So vicious tenacity, relentless tracker, quick recovery, planar acclamation, major resistance, magic resistance. So magic resistance is a really interesting one. It comes up a lot, and as you can see, it generally gets replicated in each product. And there's probably an important takeaway here is don't create your monsters using products you don't have, or don't create your monsters using products other people won't have if you're going to give this to them. So in my case here, this is going to be a product that will probably be sold eventually, so I want to make sure that everything that this monster needs is actually contained inside this file, unless it's in the 5th edition SRD, because that's part of the core pack. So we erase LG. There we go. And we'll use that one there. There we go. Done. Alright, hard to kill. Don't fight this guy, I'm telling you. Bad idea. Gaze. Get the LG gaze instead of the community pack or the Kobold Press one. For the reasons we just discussed. Frumious bounding charge. And click OK. Alright, we'll click test. This is going to chew through some requirements. And we go back to Hero Lab, and look at that, we've now got all of these set up. So bounding charge, fruminous, and yes, this is me just double checking my work. Gaze, hard to kill, magic resistance, planar acclamation, quick recovery, relentless tracker, and vicious tenacity. So that's all come through successfully. If we check special, we should see them all, which they're there. And we keep going. So actions, multi-attack. Multi-attack is easy these days, ever since they added it in. You just find the multi-attack section, set it to yes, and give it text. That's done. We need to add a natural attack for a bite. If you remember, our last bite was pretty simple because it was just a 1 damage. In this case here, we're actually going to do 2d10. We'll leave the attack modifier. Alright, so, and the target is grappled. So we're going to do the on-hit effects. Now, with bite, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save it. and then have a look at it. So how did it work? It's got a plus 16, which that's insane, but why? It's probably not too ridiculous, to be honest, but it is higher than we want. Where's your proficiency bonus? It's got a plus 6. So this thing's hitting with strength and proficiency for a plus 16. So, you know, technically Hero Lab is calculating it correctly. These guys have gone with a plus 7. I don't know if I can get it down, to be honest. But let's have a look. I don't know if I can get it down. Can you do a minus? Hey, that worked. So it got a bit high. I didn't even think about the mass then. I just wanted to see whether it worked. So as you can see, like, I mean, you would have seen D&D Beyond, for example, came out and said they can't do custom races for people. This is why. Excuse me. There's quite a bit of stuff involved in doing this sort of thing. Custom classes, sorry. Reach 10 feet. Now it's hitting with 2d10, that's fine. It's got a plus 10 damage modifier. What did the damage modifier come across as? Plus 10, so that's perfected. Alright, piercing damage, and the target is grappled, blah 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 blah. And the target's grappled. Looks like we are good to go. Alright, so we'll leave that. We'll now add a claw attack. Again, it's a natural attack. Click to add another bootstrap. Claw. What are we doing now? It's got a plus 7 to hit. 15 on the reach. Now we've figured our attack modifier already, so we can just copy that. Hit 28, so 4d8. No, 2d8. I'm looking at the wrong bit. 2d8 slashing damage. Click OK. Let's just test it. Now I'm doing the testing constantly for the purpose of you guys, really. There's no real need to keep checking this if you don't need it. But 2d8 plus 10, obviously that's worked. Alright, next one. More interesting one again. Tail slap. I don't think we have a tail slap. I'm wrong. We do have a tail slap. Okay, cool. Makes it easier. I'm going to do our -9 again so we can get back to where we need to be. 15 feet reach. One target hitting for 4d8 piercing damage. And the creature blah blah blah. Alright. As you can see, once you get your basics down for something, if it's replicated a few times within your monster, it just gets easier to do. So we've got our tail slap, that's come across nicely. The claw is doing 19 damage, was that right? Yep. It's obviously making everything a lot easier for us. Alright, let's put the quills in. The quills is again going to be a racial special. We'll check to make sure we haven't done quills, which we haven't. Give it the name, give it the unique name, put the text in. If you're just doing text, if you don't mind about having all the maths auto calculate, and you know, having a name with just the description is going to get you far. But if you want the real power of Hero Lab, you've got to do the lot. Now this one is an action. It's an attack, so it's an action. We'll save that. It's got a range of 300 feet. Jesus Christ. So we just set the 300 feet there up. DC 20, dex throw. So we're going to do a saving throw. Dexterity. DC 20 dex throw. That's tail slap. Oh, we need to actually add quills. Sorry, we'll go back to our race. We'll go in a racial special. We're going to add quills. Make sure we use the right one. Go back to Hero Lab, and we now have quills. Now, alright, we're good. Fantastic. Only thing left is to add in the legendary actions. So let's have a look at move. I know we added move in for the last one. So, how's it written? Moves a distance equal to its full movement without provoking opportunity attacks. So we'll change this to creature. We'll reuse that for everything. Alright, then we've got claw. I reckon we could probably do the same thing. The creature makes a claw attack. Yep. Then we've got tail slap. Tail slap is going to have to be a separate one. So we'll go tail slap. And if we remember from the last video, we found out that legendary actions is where we set how many legendary actions it takes. Didn't do a valid ID number, so we'll go tail slap. Save it, and then we're done. Alright, so I'm just going to go back to move and claw. And I'm just going to set legendary actions to 1. We're going to move. We'll do the same thing, just for the sake of perfection, you know, OCD. And back in Hero Lab, we can now have a look at it. No, what did I miss? I didn't add them to the actual race. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go back up to my racial special abilities. I'm going to go click, we're going to go move. Ew, so many of them, but we're looking for LG. We're looking for claw. Alright, my son is crying. Just going to mute you guys quickly. Wife to the rescue. Everything's going alright in the background with the children. We'll add the tail slap. And click OK. So we'll click test. And then we'll just go over to Hero Lab and check it. And we can now see that we've got legendary actions, we've got move, but tail slap hasn't come across. So, tail slap wasn't set up correctly, I don't think. Hang on, let's check that. I didn't set it as a legendary. Alright, so we'll do that. Click test. And now if we go back and have a look, there it is. The two actions have come across. You notice even though I set one action for these two, nothing actually happened. And everything looks like it's working out alright. Two actions. Okay. That monster is largely in there. going to grab a copy of the image. I'm going to come over here and paste as a new image. And you can see here, this is going to take me a fair chunk of time to do modification there. I wonder if I could just do a bit of a... I will get the proper artwork for these in case you haven't figured out I'm doing proper data entry here. But for the purpose of you guys playing at home, there's no reason why you couldn't do something like this. I'm using Green Shot, and you can see here that I want to get rid of the text. So using Green Shot, I'm going to use... There used to be a dropper button. There it is. I'm going to use the dropper button. I'm going to fill that in. It's not perfect, but Hero Lab is pretty small, so people probably won't even notice. So I've used the dropper to sort of, dropper from the box tool to use the color of the background, and then I'm just going to save that as that's in Realmworks, the Beast. And then from back in Hero Lab, we go personal. Wrong one. Realmworks, the Beast. There we go. Alright, again I've saved this inside of a portfolio that I've saved as a stock file. That stock file is saved inside of the game system data file. Alright, so there's stock files and user files in here, and that way when it's saved, anything that is put in here is now available from inside of the Game Master Show Encounter Builder. So I can come in here and go Froom, and there we go. Alright, there we go guys, that's how to make a very large monster. That's a very complex monster. We had to do some coding there, we had to do a hell of a lot of abilities, we had to do some research, but we got there in the end. Obviously you just need to think outside the box sometimes with monsters, and this was a great example of how to do that. So hopefully you guys learned something from this. It has been a long video, apologies, but as you can see, monsters, when you're entering them properly, are not always quick. If you've got this far and you're still going, no way, I'm not going to do that, then I do strongly suggest that you go and have a look at the, under race, there's a custom monster. Alright, I've got another video on that if you want to have a look, but that is a lot easier. I would have been done in 2 to 3 minutes with this monster. But using that method, I don't have it available in the Game Master Show Encounter Builder. This way this monster is done. It's here permanently now for me. If you're entering data for a company, for example, this is how you set something up for sale, for example. This is a file I can give someone and they can take it away and use it. So this is a lot more professional product. So something to consider. Anyway guys, that's how to create monsters number 2. Hope you've found that to be useful or entertaining. If you are finding these videos interesting, please do subscribe to my channel, and if there's videos you'd like to see, please do let me know in the comments or on Facebook or in the forums or whatever way you know to contact me. Most of you seem to know how to contact me these days, so having some great conversations, and it's leading to more great videos. So thank you everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you on the forums or elsewhere. Ciao.